G'day, welcome to Mt.Coramba Apiculture. It's Saturday 19th of July 2025. I'm at Edgefern, just not far from home. Just starting to get into my spring management of my bees. If you've watched my videos before, you'd have heard my story that the spring here starts on about the 1st of August. So I need to be in my bees mid-July to prevent them from swarming. And I looked at the Coramba hives yesterday and they're telling me that, yeah, spring's already here. So the basics of spring management is just giving the queen room to lay. So I don't want those brood boxes to become congested. They're all under a queen excluder and I don't want them to get congested and end up in the trees. So that's the main purpose. I think the real key to spring management is knowing your country. I've borrowed that saying from someone else. It's not my term, but you got to know your bees and know your country. So it's really important that spring here is on the 1st of August. Other places it might be another day, but it's that other day. So you gotta know your country. Beautiful day here, but we got a really gusty southerly, sort of a southeasterly coming up off the coast, and it's really gusty. So we'll just do our best. So the hives I looked at Coramba the last couple of days, the good hives have got brood in nearly every comb, and I've pulled those green combs, my mite trapping combs, out to the wall, and they're actually laying up the inside of those green combs with drone brood. So yeah, things are well underway for a good start to the season. Now that I've used synthetic miticides in these hives just at the end of that summer build-up, I've got the dilemma now that I can't pull treated brood combs up into the honey supers like I used to do. So the plan is to make up Nucleus hives with them, and we'll just see how that goes. So I've started doing that. I think I've made about 4 nukes out of the hives I've got at the moment, so we'll do a little bit of that today as well. Also, monitoring. It's just so important that you monitor for mites. If you're up in Queensland and you haven't got mites yet, or you're just in those early stages, I can't stress enough that you've got to monitor. You've got to know your mite levels. If you don't, there's a very good chance that you'll lose your bees. And I've still got people ringing me saying, Glenn, my bees have died. It's not the new 5G tower. It's not the government spraying aluminium from the aeroplanes. It's not the rain. It's not the small hive beetles. It's varroa. If you haven't worked that out by now, you're going to really struggle. So if you haven't got varroa yet, you need to be on the ball and know when it's there. And when it's there, you need to monitor and take action. There's no excuse for your bees dying if you're on the ball. Anyway, that's my rant. Let's get into some beehives and have a look. All right, so on to our first hive here. So this hive's had the black plastic on it, which I do to all of them, and just a little bit of a gap there. I'll leave my gap at the front. I noticed my friend Ben down in South Australia, who's using black plastic on his as well, and he's got the gap at the back. So not sure if one way is better than the other, but yeah, this is what I do and it's been fine. So yeah, I'm not sure what difference it makes. So you can see we've got bees from wall to wall, and I think that's the benefit of having that black plastic over those over the top of those frames. All my frames are marked with a B to indicate they've got Bayvarol in them. Our green comb is where I put it at the end of summer, just so we can get brood across all these frames. And I've noticed in the ones at Coramba, they'd actually laid up the inside of this green comb with drone brood, which is a good indication that they're kicking off. So let's see what's going on here. Can't get much better than that. I found the queen there straight away. Not even ready with my queen catcher. Gee, she's a nice looking queen too. I think that's one of the old Terry Brown queens. Absolute cracker. So that won't happen again today. So she's on that comb, which indicates she's probably interested in it. That's all. We'll move that comb in as we do this inspection. So, all right, we'll keep moving here. So the plan is to do a now I've got the queen, we'll do a do a mite wash. Yes, there's brood in there, so second frame in, there's brood. And that's a nice brood pattern there, so important to check for brood diseases while we're going here. That queen's doing really well. This wind's horrific. I've got the dead cat on my microphone, so hopefully it doesn't cause too much interference. Once again, nice brood pattern. Let's do a wash and see how mite loads are. Yep, they're good. So they're at the stage now where they're going to need some space, or they'll be swarming in a fortnight. So this is the objective today, is to give the queen a bit of room. So let's do an alcohol wash. This wind's going to blow everything over. Should get enough bees off here. So you've seen me do this before. 300 bees with half a cup into our cup. And we'll come back to that. Right, so what I want to do too is give these, damn it, really struggling with that smoke at the moment. So I want to make up nukes, so let's go and get a couple of frames of foundation. So the objective of making nukes out of these is to cycle out these frames that have had synthetic miticides in them. I used to be able to pull them up above the queen excluder into the honey super, let them fill up with honey, then extract them and just keep them going in the honey supers, but I can't do that anymore. So I'm looking for just a good range of brood to go in. We'll take brood out of, take 2 frames of brood out of 3 different hives, so just we'll get as many bees as we can on them as well, and that just relieves the pressure in the brood box here, so we'll grab that as well. Alright, so we'll put some foundation back in. Damn it. So I want to keep the brood cluster nice and tight in the middle. So I'll put that fella there. Move them across. I'm going to put this green cone, I'm going to move it in one space to just encourage that queen to lay in it. And I'll put that sheet of foundation just there. Just push them over. Put that sheet of foundo there, so that's dated. I can see it hasn't had a Bayvarol treatment. Yeah, so that's it set up there. The queen should start laying in that soon. Let's let her out. She's a nice looking queen. Just get her to move out. Still in there. She's gone now. Right, so I hope that makes sense. Green comb in for mite trapping. We'll talk more about that as we go. 2 new frames of foundation in there. So 2 frames of brood add into a nuke, and we'll keep adding to that as we go, and make sure there's resources in that nuke for the bees to make a queen. I'm not adding a queen or a cell, I'm just letting them do it themselves, and we'll fix that up later. So yeah, there we go. So that's that hive done. Let's get it back together. Alright, so we're down in hive 2 here. You can see where my black plastic's positioned. As the season advances and things warm up, what I do is just keep pulling that back, just so there's more room between the brood box and the honey super, and I'll eventually take that bit of black plastic out and then bring it up above the next honey super. So just always managing that space in the hive. So my records for this said that last inspection a month ago when I took the Bayvarol out, that this hive looked a bit weak, but gee, they don't look too bad now. So I can see bees from here to here. Let's see what the brood situation looks like. Once again, all my frames marked with B to indicate they've got Bayvarol in them, or they've been treated with Bayvarol, and they won't be pulled up into a honey super. So there's that queen just starting to lay up that drone brood, so that's a really good sign. Beautiful. Sit that aside. We'll just sit it up there. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. Lovely solid cat brood there. Really nice. I won't pull a nuke out of this because they're still they're not busting in that brood box. Yeah, that looks good. I can see eggs and larvae in there. Once again, good brood pattern for this time of year. A little bit of drone brood in there. If I can identify a comb to pull out, I will, because I can still put them aside to use them for nukes. But yeah, they're under no pressure there. So what we'll do is push that back in. I'm going to make that's what we'll do. Oh no, just got to keep that brood nice and tight in the brood box. So we'll get this drone comb back in, but we'll swap this one over. So pull that to there, because that's got drone cells in it, almost to be capped. I want to get my timing right, so I want to have everything, all these drone combs on the same day. So I'll just shake these bees off, make sure the queen's not on them. That'll go home to the freezer. So here's one I brought from home, that's come out of the freezer at home, and we'll put that in there. So generally in that second position. Oh, not sure if I mentioned that last hive had a mite wash of 0, so that's really good. Alright, so that's set up to go. I'm keeping my brood cluster nice and tight. I didn't want to pull that frame of brood to there and put that drone comb in there, or I can put it there. So yeah. Alright, that's good. Alright, on to hive 3. So we've got our black plastic here, just with enough space for the bees to get through. I've had a little bit of a peek, and these bees have done exceptionally well under their little plastic roof. So we're going from our winter, what we call winter anyway, our winter setup, to that mite trapping comb has gone to the wall to give the bees space to fill those frames up with brood. So we can see bees between every seam from wall to wall, which is a great sign. All of our combs are marked with B to indicate they've had Bayvarol in them. I'll keep harping on it. Once you've treated with a synthetic miticide like Bayvarol, those frames can't be lifted up into the honey supers anymore, because that's what the label says. We can't do that anymore. So to make space in this brood box, I need to find other ways to do that. My plan at the moment is to make up Nucleus hives, so I want to run at least 30 6-frame nukes this year to keep myself in Queens and to sell a few bees, possibly to people who need bees for various reasons. So let's have a look at what this looks like, and we'll be looking to pull a couple of frames for a nuke. So nothing in there yet. Bees aren't particularly happy to see me. So that wind's dropped a bit, fortunately. Let's have a look through here. I've got my hair clip queen catcher. See if we can catch a queen and do a wash. Can't see any brood in there yet, but they can't be far off. So I'm expecting to find a queen there. Nectar in there. Just put a little gap here to stop the queen running to the side wall. And we're into some brood. So that's good. I can see eggs in those cells. That's on black plastic foundation, and I can see an egg in every one of those cells, so that's really nice. Patch of seal brood there and patch of eggs and larvae there, so very healthy. Pretty to look at. So we may not take a nuke out of this. There's a little bit behind that first hive, but here's a nice heavy one. Yeah, full of brood. Beautiful pattern. Nice healthy brood there. Oh my God. Doesn't get much better than that. Very nice. I wouldn't mind washing these. I'd see if I can find a queen in here. So with a frame like that, it won't take long for this hive to take off. This feels quite heavy too. Looking for that queen. I don't stress too much if I can't find her. This is a drop of 15 hives, so even if I do half of them, I get a good idea of the mite load. So I'm not sweating washing every hive. So she could be on here. Not seeing her there. Another beautiful frame of seal brood. And there's my queen there. She's going to duck around the bottom, bugger you. She's going to play hide and seek with me. She's just there. That's got it. Get in there. All right. So that's got her safely in the hair clip queen catcher. Let's do a wash and check this mite load. Bees really don't like the smell of this metho, particularly if you've done a wash in it prior. So if you find they're getting what I call metho rage, just swap your metho over more often. Ouch. Rotten things. Not happy. Right, let's get our 300 bees with the wash, and we'll come back to that. Right, so that's got some really nice frames of brood in it. Quite spectacular, actually. I still don't think I'll pull a nuke out of it. I think they could go another fortnight without too much worry. So there's brood right to the wall there. So all I think I'll do is move this drone comb in to position 2, and that should be enough space for them. So we'll pull that out to there, bring that in, and we'll just encourage the queen to lay in there. Not happy, these bees. They don't like that metho. Let's get it out of our way. Alright, that's all I need to do there. Let's let that queen go. She's gone. Queen excluder back on. And our plastic back into that position there, just to keep them nice and warm. So they're done. Let's do this mite wash. So we'll just do this mite wash in this hive. So Bayvarol come out of here exactly a month ago. So it's the 19th of June. Bayvarol come out. Yeah, so 0 mite count when that come out. So just I'm looking for signs of reinfestation and mite growth in these hives. So hive 1 had a count of 0, so we'll see what this one looks like. 0 so far. So I think why is it still 0? The time of year. Sure, with as you can see, the brood build up in these hives. The more brood, the more mites. So I'm sure the mite build up, the natural build up in these hives will kick off shortly. But I'm pretty confident that all the feral hives in this area are gone. Just my observation. I think they're dead. And any unmanaged hives around the place as well. So people that just haven't quite got the varroa thing yet, they're gone as well. Zero. Fantastic. Alright, we're down into hive 4, so I've had a bit of a sneak peek here. Wall-to-wall bees, so that's a good sign. We've got bees in every seam. This is a 9-frame hive. Hive IQ. Let's see if we can pull a nuke out of this one. Green comb back on the wall. So some of the hives I looked at Coramba yesterday, they had brood in this side of the green comb on the wall. So a few beetles in there, not anything to be concerned about. Then wanting to get in there, there's a bit of nectar in that side. Let's just sit that fella there. Alright, let's battle this wind and have a look in here, see what we can find. Find a queen. Do a wash and maybe pull a nuke. Nothing there. Get our hair clip. full of honey. No brood. No brood in that side, because that's got honey in it. This one's nearly empty. We'll swap them around. Hopefully that queen will move into that one a bit quicker and lay in it. Oh, this damn wind. It's no brood in it, I think. So yeah, patch of brood. I can see eggs and larvae there. So that'll be a nice frame actually to pull out into that nuke. Give them the resources they need to make a queen. Let's see how we go. So if I can find the queen, I'll pull that out and swap it with a frame of foundation. Drone cells there, which I'd prefer not to have in there, but they're there. The only drone cells I want in here are the ones that I put in with my green comb. Nice gentle bees. All that brood looks healthy. Mature drones here. So I hope to start raising a few queens in the next few weeks. Need to get home and set up my cell builder. But I've got to get around all these hives first and make sure they don't swarm on me. There's a nice frame of brood. No queen there just yet. Let's see if she's in here. Not having much luck with her in here. Let's see what's on this frame. Got her. Alright, so there's our queen caught, nice and safe in there. So we'll pull a frame out here for our nuke. I'll just go and get it. Just starting to get a bit overcast and unpleasant here. Let's get this frame. So that's a good one to pull out. Got a little bit of brood, a little bit of pollen. Let's put that in our nuke. The queen's still in there. So that's the other one we'll take is this one full of this one that was full of honey, just to give that nuke some resources. So those bees that are sticking on there can go as well. So that's 4 frames in our nuke. Will we do a wash or not? Yep, there's plenty of bees on that, so we'll grab 300 bees, do a quick wash. Alright, as soon as I open that metho bottle, the bees let me know they disapproved. Let's grab this comb here and grab our 300. Seems like a terrible waste, but the bees can cope with it at this time of year, and they'll soon replace them. So there's our 300, or half a cup. Oh, damn it. Almost half into the wash. Out. Always take your sample off the brood comb, that's where the mites are. Let's get this hive back together. It's come over quite overcast now, and not very pleasant. So let's get that. So we'll just move that back. There's enough bees in there, I think, to split the brood up a little bit. Let's just move that to there. Push those frames across. We won't push them too hard. We'll put that drone comb in there. So move it off the wall into position 2. So that's good. We've relieved that bit of swarming pressure from that hive. 2 fresh frames of foundation in there. Our combs that had been treated with Bayvarol are not going up in the honey super anymore. They're going out to a nuke. So I've relieved that pressure in there by taking 2 frames of brood out, or frame of brood and a frame of honey, and the attached bees, and we've taken 300 bees out for a wash. So yeah, that'll relieve any pressure to swarm in there. Let's let this queen go. She goes. Still got what's left of a green dot on her. Alright, let's get these closed up and do this wash. Alright, so we're moving on to hive 5. That last mite wash was a 0 once again. It doesn't mean there aren't mites here. I know there are, I'm just not detecting them, so that's a great result. Once again, if you got to monitor your mite loads. If you don't know, you don't know. Yeah, can't keep harping on more about it. Just go over my hive setups again for everyone. So down here, these are Hive IQ. There's an old Paradise box here, but mainly Hive IQ. Got our bottom board here, our brood box here with the queen excluder, and you can see my sheet of black plastic with the gap at the front. Notice, as I said earlier, my friend Ben down in South Australia, he puts his gap at the back, and I don't know which way is right, but I never thought to put the gap at the back, so that's the way I use them. Just to get some feedback on what people think. This just keeps the warmth in that brood box down in the bottom. Enough space there for the bees to get up through here and access honey in here. So this is full of honey, this is empty, and this is empty. And the question I get all the time is, why don't I take those boxes off? Because I haven't got anywhere to put them, and the bees take much better care of them than any way I could. So the bees look after them chemical free. I haven't got to put phostoxin tablets into a stack of boxes or anything like that. So there's nothing up here in here that would interest the hive beetle. So often a strong hive, you'll take this off, and there's a few hundred bees up in these supers just looking after things and keeping things tidy. So yeah, there's no issues with wax moth or anything with these boxes. So yeah, and of course our Hive IQ lid on the top. So good old grunt strap to keep it all together. These are sitting up on hive stands just to get that airflow through the bottom of the hive. So yeah, that's my winter setup: brood, queen excluder, sheet of plastic, box of honey, empty super, and lid. All right, let's get down to this brood box and see what's in here. So I've had a bit of a break from filming, just slows me down a bit, but yeah, I'm onto the front row of these hives here now. Hive 10, I haven't washed all of them, but I've washed most of them when I found the queen, and I haven't found a mite yet, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So once again, set up here. These two supers are empty. I've got bees to the top, so they're looking after them in terms of chasing beetles and that sort of thing. That's as light as a feather, nothing in it. That's nothing, completely empty. So this is a box of honey. It's chock-a-block full of honey. Damn it. Not happy, these bees. There's our plastic, just that gap through there for the bees to get through. Right, let's get you down into this brood box. So they're looking good. Let's get this excluder off. So we've got a green comb here on the wall. All the frames are marked B for Bayvarol, so that they don't get pulled up into a brood box. I've started on my second nuke, so I think we're still looking for 2 frames of brood. So still got another 6 hives including this to go, so nothing getting laid up in there yet, but they're on it. And there's my queen. Interesting, I'm finding them on these green combs. There's my queen there. These are giving me a bit of a liven up. Set that green comb aside. So we might wash these. I can see there's no bees here, so it's not the strongest of hives. But let's see if we can. So I don't want to pull any brood out of it. We still might do a wash. See, there's plenty of bees on there. Let's get 300 and check them for varroa. So this, I think, is the last one I'll wash. I'm confident my mite levels are really low, and they're just starting to get a bit of metho rage. And I think that's what's pissing them off. So we'll stop after this one. So there's a good shake of bees. 300. We'll come back to that. We won't do any more alcohol washing. Alright, so let's do a bit of sorting out here. Put that back there. So we've got 2 empty combs here. Let's grab one of these. So there's room in there. There's no pressure on this queen to swarm. She's got 2 empty combs there. So let's push that one across. That's not very well drawn, so we'll turn that around, put it in there, and put our drone comb into that position too there, where the queen should start. She was on that frame, so she's clearly interested in laying it up. Oh, damn it. Ouch. Alright. That's got that sorted. Let's let her go. There she goes. We'll close this hive up. Alright, we're down in hive 11. That last mite wash was a 1, so that's the first mite detection I've had here today, so I'm really pleased with that. We can see this drone comb is in position 2 already, and I can see from the top here that it's full of full of drone brood. So bees are unhappy. I've put the metho away. It just drives them crazy in the end, and they just get sick of it. So that's what's upsetting them. I call it metho rage, and they've got it. So I've just taken it back away to the ute and away from here. Hopefully they'll settle down. So, but I've done enough whitewashing. So that's that wall comb. Just a bit of honey in that. Here's my green comb. And I can feel the weight in that. So there you go. That's the first round of drones this spring. That'll come out, go in the freezer. Yeah, and we'll continue our mite trapping. So yeah, if anyone who thinks it's winter, it is not. Particularly on the mid-north coast and in Queensland as well. We're well into, just depending on where you are, we're well into spring conditions here. So that's really nice to see. Let's hope it's full of mites. So we'll take that out eventually. Let's just keep looking here and see if we can pull I need 2 more frames for another nuke. So if we can find this queen, we'll pull a couple more frames of bees, and preferably frames with eggs and larvae on them. So yeah, we're looking for just a couple more frames with eggs and larvae. Let's see what's in that one. Just need to find our queen as well. There she is. She's just walking around there, so let's just grab her. Alright, she's safely in there, so I can now just take what I want, and I'm just looking, I'll just stand up. Yep, so that frame's got eggs and larvae. We'll put that in the nuke. So that nuke's now got 5 frames and the resources that it needs to make a queen. We can see we've got plenty of drone brood. Let's just take that one as well. Alright, so there's our 2 frames of brood out for the nuke. Let's get 2 frames of foundation in here. So we'll put one there so we don't bust our brood cluster up. Put our queen back there. That fella there. So that's going home and into the freezer. We might have a bit of a look in it later. That can go on the wall. There's our new green comb. It's a bit wax mothy. The bees will fix that up. A nice strong hive. And put that there. And that fella there. Actually, we'll do it this way. So put that there. And that's back in position too, so that's good. That's fantastic. That's a nice strong hive. That's what we've done. We've relieved any pressure to swarm in there. We've swapped our green comb over, so hopefully there's mites in that green comb trapped in there. And yeah, we've just relieved swarming pressure there. And those green combs, rather those combs that have been treated with Bayvarol, are going out into a nuke rather than up into a honey super. So that's the way things are going to work from now on. Let's let that queen go. Must be gone. There she goes. Alright, let's get this hive closed up. Alright, so we're down in the hive 12 here. I've had a bit of a look. See our bees from here to here, our green comb on the wall, so let's get it out. Nothing in there yet. Let's just make sure that all of our combs are marked with a B so they don't get mixed up with anything. B, 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 bee. So they're all identified as have been in contact with Bayvarol. Let's have a look what's going on here. I don't think I'll pull a nuke out of this. Looks nice and healthy. Okay, that's good. Look, I don't think I'll pull a nuke out of that. There's a queen going in there. Let's push that back there, and all we really need to do is move that green comb in, and they're good. Don't think they're under too much pressure to swarm. There's an empty comb there and that green comb, so alright, let's get these closed up, and there's 3 more to go. So we're a few days in the future here. I'm just revisiting these nukes that I've made up as part of that bit of a spring management. Just want to see if they've made queen cells, and I also want to put some miticide in them just to keep them safe. So it's good. There's a good population of bees in there, and because what we've done is just a walkaway split, you know, I haven't put a cell or a queen or anything in there like that, so I've just given the resources that they need to make their own queen. So let's go through and see if they've made a queen cell, and if not, we'll have to revisit and do something with them. So that's empty. Main thing is we just keep the supply of brood up to young bees till we can in a position to get them to raise a queen or put a cell in, which is honestly a little way off for me. That was just honey and resources there. It's pretty cool and overcast here today, and I think there's a storm coming, so just want to get in and out of here pretty quickly. A bit of a cell there, and there's a larvae in there. Another one here, nothing in that. Let's see what's in this frame. I did give them all eggs and larvae, so they should be able to do the job, but we'll just see if they need a bit more help. Nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah, there's not much going on there. Maybe one cell, which is not really going to do the job for us, but yeah, we'll revisit it in the next few days when we get some better sunshine, and maybe just add another frame of eggs and larvae. As long as you keep the open brood up to them and nurse bees, they'll do okay till we can get them queen right. I'm just going to throw a strip of Apiculture in here because we want to keep them mite free as well. So gloves on. Right, Apiculture, which is the Amatraz family of miticides. We've got left in here, there's 2 here, so we only need 1 per nuke. That's what that stuff looks like. Just poke it in the middle. Lid back on and we're good to go. Alright, so let's hop down into this next fellow here. Once again, nice bee population in there, so they've got plenty of resources if they can draw a cell. Nothing there. That brood was probably a bit old. I've deliberately put some sealed frames in there just to keep the bee population up. seal brood there. That'll keep that hive nicely populated. It's under there. So there's a good couple of good queen cells there. So that's what we're kind of looking for. So that's good. Carefully put that back in. Nothing there. If we had some of these hives had a couple of frames with cells on, we could swap them over. We'll get there in the end. Yeah, nothing on there, so that's okay. There's a few cells there. Main purpose today is just to get this Apivar in, so let's open up a fresh packet. So I just don't want to damage those queen cells. Put that in there. Very good. Let's keep looking. It's on to the last nuke here. Plenty of bees. Let's see what's going on. They're not particularly happy in this cooler weather. No cells there, but it was probably a bit old to make any. Nothing there. So there's a cell there. Looks pretty good. And there's a couple there, so they look like good cells. So that's 2 out of 5. There's a cell sealed there, so what we can do is swap that over into one of these hives that hasn't got one. Let's do that now. Alright, so I'm going to grab that frame with the one cell on it. There it is there, and move that to the hive next door that doesn't have one. Alright, just replace that with that sheet of foundation from the other hive. And put that back in, and somewhere throw our Apivar in there, and they're good for, they won't be hassled by mites for 8 to 10 weeks. So I can't use Apivar with anything with a honey super on, so they're ideal for these nukes. I can just drop them in and forget about them essentially in terms of mite control. That's good. So 3 out of 5 with cells in them, and we'll work on the others. We'll just take a bit more care when we put resources in, eggs and larvae, and possibly notch a few cells. We might do a video on how to do that and go from there. Alright, that's a good result. Alright, so that was a bit longer than I planned. I hope it all makes sense. Achieved a few things there. We're making space in the brood box to give the queen room to lay. So as I said, we can expect a swarm here on the 1st of August, so I'm into my hives mid-July to relieve that swarming pressure. I'm making up nukes. I want to make at least 30 nukes this year to keep my supply of queens going and just hopefully breed some better queens for my bees. And we're getting those treated combs out of our brood boxes, and hopefully at some stage, we can get to a point where we don't have to use synthetics so much, but just at this stage, I've really got no choice with 100 hives. That's where you get to at the end of summer, and that's just the way it is. So one thing I have noted is that the mite loads are really low. So as I said as well, it's really important that you monitor. If you don't know your mite loads, you don't know they could be high and you're not aware of it, and a lot of people are finding that out the hard way. So quite pleasing to get, the bees that I have washed through 3 or 4 sites that I've got are washing 0s, 1s and 2s. So that's probably the time of year. Plus it's also just, I think there's a lot less pressure from collapsing hives, and it's anecdotal, but in my opinion, I think we're through the worst of that reinfestation on the mid-north coast, or particularly around Nana Glen, because I'm pretty confident that most of the feral hives and the unmanaged hives are dead. So that's good for beekeepers who look after their beehives. But yeah, I'm still getting a call a week from someone who's astonished that their bees are dead. And when you go through, what the possible options are, we tend to come back to varroa, unfortunately. So, right, look, that's great. Once again, a long video, but thanks for getting to the end. I'd be really grateful if you watch my videos and you haven't subscribed. If you could subscribe, and if you can just hit the like button as well, it really helps with the algorithm and just lets Google know that people are watching my videos. So, okay, so we're in well and truly into spring, and looking forward to a great season. I get some great phone calls from people. Once again, if you want to talk about things, particularly if you're up in Queensland or down in Victoria and worried about varroa, give me a call. If you think I can help you, give me a call and I'll talk things through with you and try and set yourself up to do the best with varroa. All right, thanks for watching.